Good evening, everybody. Welcome to PatFacts. Patrick here, battery back, personal fitness. Be good, but not perfect. This is our theme for tonight. I thought it was fitting, as I mentioned last week, for those that were with us. Little new area tonight, new location. It's not quite ready yet, so we're gonna get a little blurred out for this evening. Still got a little bit of work to do, so I don't want to give it away just yet. But a few changes around, so we made a little bit of some changes to the studio and where we're broadcasting from and what we're going to be doing. So we want to talk tonight about not being so concerned about being perfect. A lot of us get caught up in the I'll start when this is ready, or when this is done, or when I lose 10 pounds, then I'll go to the gym, or when I get my eating just where I need it to be, then I'll start that workout program. And typically, the best way to get to where you want to go is just to start. It doesn't have to be perfect. Our pal Brendan Pritchard likes to say, imperfect action beats perfect inaction. Because you're waiting for that perfection a lot of time, we won't get there. We won't even start because we're so concerned about things being just right and just so, and having them the way we want them to be, that a lot of times we'll put things off, we'll put it away, we'll procrastinate on our important goals because we're trying so hard to get them where we want them to be and to get them into that great place where we're at. And we don't need to be. We just need to, again, focus on what it is we're working towards, how we can get there, and then what we can do to help us get along that route as well. And those are the main things we can look at. And I wanted to just mention that tonight again. We're over halfway through 2022. 2023 is going to be here before you know it. And again, we're July. We like to start here on PatFacts and with my clients thinking about 2023 and our resolutions and our plans and goals in October-ish. So we're getting really close to that. So we want to make sure that we're thinking and moving ahead and not worrying too much about, again, not being perfect. We want to get ourselves in action. That was my theme word for this year, action, moving things forward, putting those plans in place. We want to make sure we're making the most of the rest of this year. And again, even in the next few months, hopefully we're progressing towards our goal enough so we can start again, maybe start to think about that 2023 goal or goals. How have I been doing in 2022? How am I going to take this momentum or this progress and carry that forward into 2023? And then that starts the mind rolling and starts things going of what can I plan? What's the next chapter for me? What's the next step? Where do I want myself to go? Did I reach my goal? Am I looking like I'm going to reach my goal? Am I struggling? Do I need more time? Do I need to modify the goal? Or does it seem like I'm going to get there? Then what's the next? What's the next step? Where are we going to go next? Where am I going to go next? How we've talked a lot here about our systems. How can I take the systems I've used to get this far and reach my goal I set out back late last year? How can I now take that system, that process, and transfer it into this next goal that we're looking towards or we're working towards? What's my theme for 2023 going to be? Is it going to be a piggyback or a carry-on of 2022? Is it going to be something completely different? Okay, we want to track our progress and keep things going and not be so worried about having things just the right way before we start. Because otherwise we won't start. And then you'll be here this time next year, halfway through a year, frustrated because you haven't been progressing like you want to, you're getting things going. And again, this is stuff I deal with as well. We just need to start and get going. There's never the perfect time, the perfect moment, the perfect amount of money, the perfect level of stress. You just have to try to get things started. Be clear on what it is you want. Put the plans in place to help you get there, and then just start one day at a time. We've been watching Frozen 2 some more here in the house. And I've talked before, I did a PatFacts actually about Frozen 2, because one of the sayings in it I thought was there's trials and tribulations like every movie has, but one of the sayings is do the next right thing. You're not sure what to do, just do the next right thing. That's what we need to do. And that's what we need to do every day. Just do the next right thing. You're here now. What are you going to do after PatFacts? The next right thing. What are you going to have for dinner? The next right thing. What are you going to do tomorrow? The next right thing. You just kind of try to batch up these next right things and layer them. And that gives you that momentum and helps you to keep moving forward toward that goal, one step at a time. And that's all we can really ask for. Again, if we wait for that perfection, we wait too long, and then we don't get anything done, and then we get frustrated with ourselves, and then we don't get other goals done because, again, we have that negative energy behind us. Oh, I screwed that one up again. I didn't make it. Here I go again, just saying I'm going to do something, then I don't. Don't overwhelm yourself. Pick something and lay out a plan for it, and then just do the next right thing. Get that next step going. Do that first little step. That's going to get you a little bit closer to your goal. You don't have to be there tomorrow. It's going to take a little bit of time. Give yourself that time and patience with that. Just going to hop in here and say hello to everybody. Nadia, I'm not sure why I didn't get a notification. I didn't set up something early. I didn't post a time earlier today. I just kind of went live at 6. So maybe that's why. Thanks for the little shout out there. Chico, good evening. Sure. Good evening. Drive safe, buddy. Good to see you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you. Thanks for being here, hosting and chiming in, everyone. And those of you watching on the recording as well, thanks for tuning in. Again, new location here for PatFacts. We've had some changes go on. We've moved around a little bit, so we're not quite ready to show yet here this evening. So that's why we're got the sort of blurred background. Not quite ready to reveal it, but pretty soon. Maybe by next week we'll have a little more done and can open things up and show you a little sneak peek for you. Yeah, no, he kicks Twitch for sure. A little Twitch glitch. But again, here I am. My office, my broadcast space isn't perfect, but here I am. I'm going. I went live last week. We did a little different format, a little different recording, and then now we're back here this week to again keep moving forward, keep giving you the knowledge and information and motivation and inspiration to help you move forward towards your goals. And we're not there. We're not perfect yet. It's not quite where we want it, but I want to keep moving and keep that momentum going. We're getting a great following here on the various platforms. We're all growing a little bit together. Numbers are growing. It's great to see. I want to keep that momentum going so that I can reach more people and help more people feel the positivity pandemic and help spread that throughout their communities and help us all live how I call operationally fit, fit to fight your daily battles that life hands you. So I streamed. I found this sort of blurred out background. And Natty says I look like a dream sequence in a movie. Yeah, little wavy dream sequence. So I'll give you a little sneak peek there. Yeah, just kind of like a dream sequence of you don't have to be perfect. You don't need to be perfect. Speaking to you, some people say they hear me in their sleep, talk about their shoulders down and watch their posture and some of my fitness cues. So this is a fitting way to do it, I guess. We'll have to maybe bring this one back some more and use it. But again, we weren't perfect here. We weren't 100% set up. But I wanted to keep moving forward and keep bringing you guys the topics and the conversations that we create here on our various platforms as we chat together. So we found out a way to get it going and to move it along. And then maybe next week we'll see a little more. But again, little bits at a time. I'm going to work tonight, doing a little bit more on the office, on the background, in the area where I'm going to be working, doing some clips and some workouts as well. If we can get the spacing worked out and the lighting things, we're going to check out some options for that. But we're here with our PatFacts, and I'm going to keep moving and keep you guys going. And love seeing the energy in that chat. Jer, 10 and 2. Keep those hands 10 and 2, buddy. Drive safe. Want to make sure. Thanks, guys. Reminds me of work backgrounds. Yeah, exactly. You can work here and not have to see what's going on, and then you can have a little bit of privacy, a little bit as well. Thanks, guys. Parked home. Oh, okay, you're parked. Okay, then do whichever you like. Then if you're parked, glad you're home safe. So yeah, we want to make sure that we don't strive for that or don't wait for that perfect moment to start or that perfect moment to take that next level, next step. We just want to go through and do it and get to that next point. And one way to do that is to have that plan. lay out what it is you're looking to do, accomplish, and what are the steps that you need to do toward that. And you've heard me talk about reverse engineering. I really want to dive a little deeper into that. We mention it a lot, but we don't really talk about it and really get into ways to do it. So I'm going to look at maybe either bringing some guests on to help me break it down a little bit more, to really teach you the method of reverse engineering. But generally, we want to start with our end goal in mind and our date and what it is, and then work back to today. Reverse engineer it, work backwards. You've already lost the 10 pounds. You've already gained the muscle mass. You've already run the 10K, the marathon. You've already learned a new language, a new skill. And then work backwards from there to today. What do I need to do today to get me a little bit closer to tomorrow? What I do tomorrow to get closer to the next day and closer to that goal, knowing that each step brings us a little bit closer to that goal that we're setting out. And for a lot of clients that I see, they think of their fitness goal, maybe it's not quite clear enough. Again, that's a discussion we've had and probably will again in the future. But regardless, they have say their fitness goal, their wellness goal, then they think it has to be done right away. It has to be tomorrow. I set a goal, I need my results. It doesn't work that way. It took you a while to get to the place where you were. You got to change some habits, maybe learn new systems, get different things in place. It's going to take a bit of time. We need that patience. Or they try to do too much too soon and overwhelm themselves. I'm going to change my nutrition and my hydration and my sleep pattern and my stress management. I'm going to exercise more. I'm going to read more. And I'm going to learn Spanish 3 times a week. Well, that's a lot of stuff to take in and it's overwhelming. And then when you don't have success or you get too overwhelmed, then again, everything goes out the window and the negative talk starts and you get behind the 8 ball of things. So we want to have a plan. You want to think of what's going to maybe make the most difference for me right now. In the term of fitness, that's what I do with my clients. What's going to give you the most benefit health-wise to reach that goal? What goal is going to make the most difference for you? Let's start with that one. And then the other ones will, again, come along a little better. And then you can reach on to the next one as you have that success and as you make that progress. Then we can, when your exercise, maybe routine is on point and on track and consistent, then let's look at drinking a little some more water, or let's look at eating better, fueling before, during, and after workouts. Let's look, and then maybe down the road, let's look at your sleep management. Because probably when you get into your exercise routine, that'll help you sleep better just on its own from the exercise and the hormones released. That'll all just the stress management that comes from it. That'll help you sleep better in general. And then you can look to fine tune your routine and maybe get an even better night's sleep. So it all comes back to that plan and that system in place. Knowing your goal, that's your start, that's your finish line, your destination. And again, think of it like the GPS. If you put in your destination, our boy Jer was just out driving. He put in his destination, his home, and then it plots out the point to get him there. That's what we want to do. Think of your destination, that's your goal, and then work backwards to put out those step-by-step directions. And then do the first one. You can't skip from start and then turn into driveway. You have to turn down this road and drive 10 kilometers and then go back this way. You have to follow it step by step. And if you miss a step, what happens? Well, hopefully, if it's working right, the GPS will reroute you. It'll create a new plan, or it'll tell you you're off track, turn back around. And again, if you take the time to create your plan and write it down on paper, digitally, whatever works for you, you can check in with yourself. How's it going? How's it working? It's not perfect yet. It's not quite where I want it, but I've got an idea. Am I staying on track? Am I staying on course? Oh no, I got off course here. I was doing pretty good and I missed my workouts last week. What can I do to get back into my routine? I'm not going to get 4 workouts a weekend right away, but maybe I can get a couple in and then I can get back into that routine. And then maybe add a 3rd or 4th, or maybe my schedule's changed. I need to take this plan and tweak it a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. It will never be perfect because there's always going to be things that come up. But the important thing is just to move on, just to keep going forward, and just to keep your consistency and your momentum going. Because once we stop without a plan to restart, a missed day here, a missed workout here, a poor nutrition choice there, all snowballs and adds up. Just like we talk about getting positive momentum and getting our workouts in and eating right and drinking enough water, If we're not, the same thing can happen, but on the negative side. And then a missed day turns into maybe a couple of days to weeks to months. And then again, we end up in that spot where we're maybe unhappy because we didn't get to where we want to go. And then that negative self-talk comes in, and those negative thoughts enter our brain, and we hear those voices. And then when the next thing comes up, the next goal, the next opportunity, we're a little timid to try or to take that next step. Why bother? Why apply for that job? I'm just going to screw it up anyway, or I'm just going to mess up the resume or the application. Why bother going for that promotion? Why bother going to trying to go to this new gym? Because I always drop out after a couple months anyway. We get into that routine and that self-talk, and we are what we think. And we want to have those good thoughts. And the way to help promote those good thoughts and good self-talk is by trying to set ourselves up for success. Making that plan, little steps on the way. Don't try to be perfect. Just be yourself. Just move forward. Just be clear with your goal. Understand that there are going to be obstacles, roadblocks, hiccups along the way. That's life. Remember that time we had to stay inside for 2 years during a pandemic? It was a bit of a hiccup. We didn't see it coming. Stuff's going to happen, whether it's that severe or little things. Be okay with it. Maybe have backup plans in place, ways to modify if you need to. But make sure that you don't beat yourself up, but have a plan to come out of those and nothing else. If I fall off my routine like I have been known to in the past, what can I do to make sure that that doesn't last this time? You heard that maybe with someone trying to quit smoking. Well, I went 3 weeks, but I buckled and I had a cigarette. That's okay. Let's try to go 3 weeks in a few days this time. Let's try to go 4 weeks. Let's try to add on to that time. Those 3 weeks you didn't smoke, it made a difference to your health. Those 3 weeks you ate really well and made good choices, it made a difference on your health. We don't have to beat ourselves up over not being perfect and having those hiccups. They're going to happen. And that's on the kind of the other end of where I see a lot of clients back out of their wellness routines. Is they're not perfect in being consistent. They're not perfect in their routine. They're not perfect in their choices all the time, and nobody is. But then again, we get down that rabbit hole, and like Chico says, those negative thoughts are tough to manage. Very true, very, very tough. And if we think about it, I believe the numbers, we have about, I think it's 80,000 thoughts a day. I'll have to double check it for sure, but I think about 80% of those are negative or have potential to be negative self-thoughts. It's way over 50% in a day are negative thoughts, negative self-talk. So it's going to take a lot of time for us to almost retrain ourselves to talk to ourselves in a better way, in a more respectful way, treating ourselves how we treat others, kind of reversing the saying. Instead of treating others as you treat yourself, maybe we need to flip that. Treat yourself as you treat others. We're usually nicer, more understanding, and quicker to say, it's okay, you can do it to other people. And then when it's us, we get down on ourselves and kind of beat ourselves up a little bit. We need to reverse that and be even stronger towards ourselves, more positive, and that'll help us be more positive to those around us. So we can say, it's okay not to be perfect. Sometimes we need to look in the mirror and say, it's okay to not be perfect to ourselves. So we know we can work through that and that we can move on and move past these little obstacles that are going to happen. It's inevitable. Something's going to come up that's going to either try or it's going to knock you off your routine a little bit. And try to think of past experiences when that's happened and then put plans in place to help you come out of that, to overcome that, to hopefully maybe avoid that or minimize it. We can't probably avoid everything, but maybe minimize the chances of it happening. But then when it does happen, what do we do to come out of that? How can we work through this? And those little steps and those little plans in place will help you get through some of these roadblocks and keep the negative talk down, and you build more success. And as you build more success, competence creates confidence. It's that loop. Back, the more confident you feel, the more likely you are to stay with it. And the more skills you develop and the more routine you create, and the better you feel about yourself and what you're doing. You're accomplishing more things. It gives you that momentum, that positive energy momentum, that positivity pandemic from within. We talk about our positivity pandemic going outward and sharing that energy with those around us. But we definitely want to have an internal positivity pandemic and keep ourselves on the upright. And it's tough. It's always ongoing. And as our boy Jer says, it took him years of becoming self-aware to change negative thoughts, for sure. The negative thoughts, a lot of them, if not most or all, are kind of subconscious. We don't always even sit and think, oh, I'm fat, I shouldn't have done that. It just happens. It's subconscious because there's been years and years of doing that, and we build up that just habit. It's habits like anything else. Habitually, we give ourselves that negative self-talk because we're taught to not brag, not be conceited. We don't want to be conceited, but we want to have confidence and belief in ourselves and appreciate ourselves for who we are and reward ourselves for our accomplishments, even if they're not perfect. And again, chances are they probably won't be, because perfection is kind of an unrealistic goal anyway. It doesn't really exist. I know a couple of you guys are perfect, but typically it's hard for us to get there. So we want excellence, maybe is a better word than perfection. We want to be excellent. We want to be very good. We want to do the best we can. We want to make sure that we're just doing the next right thing. We're not trying to be perfect. We're trying to make ourselves ready to do the next thing, to get ourselves going so that we can build that consistency and build that trust and that self-awareness. Like Jer says, we need self-awareness. We need to be aware of how we talk to ourselves and how we talk to others and what we take in. Things like that we watch streaming. What are you watching? What are you listening to? Our pal Todd Durkin says, again, it's a social media feed for a reason. It's feeding you information. And typically you don't get to pick what you see. The companies decide what to feed you. Or you need to see this. You need to see this news thing and that. Because you interacted with this once, let's send you 10 more of them. Let's get you things to get you hooked in and feel like you need that next story, that next swipe, that next like. They have people there working for them, looking for the best way to keep you on their platform. They don't want you to skip back and forth between platforms or go do something else. That's why every platform has kind of the same thing, and they all have multiple things to do in their platform to keep you from bouncing around too much. So what are you taking in? What are you listening to? What are you reading? Are you too involved in the news? Are you watching too much, taking in too much? Are you watching unrealistic people on social media that filter their lives, as I sit with a blurred out background, that filter their lives and make things look so sunshine and rainbows when meanwhile they're struggling just like the rest of us? But then we compare ourselves to that and think, well, I should be there. If they're there, I should be able to do that. I should be on that live stream. I should be able to be a guest on that show. I should be able to have a body like that, have that success. And then again, we compare ourselves because we're not perfect like that person appears to be, when in reality, they're going through just as much as you are, if not even more. So making sure you're self-aware, again, of your goals and who you want to be and staying true to that. And that all aligns with what you're ingesting, food and social media-wise and news-wise. Even, again, your people, we've talked about your sum of 5. You're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. What's your circle of friends like? How are they? Are they good people that you can count on to be there for you? Or are they kind of energy vampires that kind of suck life out of the room because it's all me and negative and this is so hard and la la. So maybe you need to scale back from those, cut them out a little bit. Maybe we need to revisit our circle of 5 and see who we're surrounding ourselves with. I like the one benefit of the pandemic was the virtual platform and making new friends and connections here and finding people who are on the same path as me and having almost a different, an in-person and a virtual circle of 5 so that we can bounce ideas off each other and help each other grow and learn all these new things that are going along. That's true, Jer. Only Kurt Hennig was perfect here. That's very true. I still like his gum spit. I always thought that was cool when he did that. That's true. He was perfect. He's the only one. But yeah, appreciate you guys. I know there's a lot of personal sharing here going on. I really love that you guys can be comfortable enough to do that. some more here. Jura says that the red flags were how I spoke to people, especially in anger. It was a reflection of how my heart was. Definitely. How we're feeling on the inside has a big effect on how we output our energy. And usually, if we have these episodes where maybe we lose it a little bit or we snap at people, it's probably not what's happening now. It's a buildup of what's been going on all day, all week, maybe a month or two. Sometimes we just reach that point where all these things build up and we have that little breakdown. We have that little emotional moment where we kind of snap at people or get angry really quickly. And again, it's probably not just that one thing. There's a lot of other things going on. And again, it's being aware of that and noticing these red flags, like Jura says, and how you react, how you respond. Maybe it's simple little things like, can you take out the trash? Bang, snap. If that triggered you that quickly, maybe you need to look at what else is going on. Maybe it's time to find a coach or a counselor or a therapist to help you work through some of this stuff and just see what is all there and what's maybe being built up for, again, days, months, years. It could be underlying factors that have been there for a long, long time. Natty says, you pay attention to your feed too much, you'll lose your mind, for sure. What I'm trying to do, actually, and so I don't have to worry about that, is trim the fat of my feed. Do an audit of my feed. If I see something that's I kind of recognize as being quite negative quite often, I just unfollow or unfriend or delete the account, whatever the case is on whatever platform you're on. But I've been doing audits of that. We're streaming to Twitch. I follow a lot of people just from, again, connections of other people and raids and things. I decided to go through and unfollow a bunch of them that I wasn't really interacting with or streaming. I followed them as a favor, almost, as the person raiding in with, to help them build their followers and that sort of thing. But I just wasn't getting the value out of it, and it was more of almost a stressor of all these notifications and things going on. Although Natty didn't have that today because she didn't get any, but it was just overwhelming of too many things. And I feel like, I should be watching that person to support them to do this. And I just think, I got to go through and just filter out some of those people. And that wasn't even something because it was negativity from them and content wise. It was just me feeling overwhelmed and saying, it's not realistic for me to be able to support and watch all these different people. I just need to trim this out to the main ones I can try to be at and the ones I want to support, even though I can't maybe be there. Facebook, IG, same thing. I'm going through and filtering out some of those accounts that are a little too negative. And even when I don't interact with that much, I'm just trying to trim the fat a little bit. So it's a little thinner of a feed, a little healthier of a feed. And then I can have a little bit more control over the content. They're still going to push out what they want to. But again, some of it's based on interactions in different platforms. So if I can trim out some of that unhealthy fat, that negative energy, then ideally that's going to reduce the chance that I'll see it too much on there. So great stuff, guys. Just checking out the comments here. Again, love the great stuff in here. Nanny says, I don't want, she was sharing a few things in the chat. Don't want to trade my pain with anyone else's. That's what you're doing when you take someone else's life. So you want to make sure, again, like she said, nothing's perfect. None of us are perfect. We talked about here today, but we want to make sure that we're making the most of our opportunities and we're living our life. They say everything happens for a reason. There's times where that's a very frustrating phrase to hear. I'll admit as well. It can be frustrating for me to hear that's whatever's happening to you is just supposed to happen. But again, in just doing this with you guys over the past 2.5 years, there's been revelations mid-show that I've had that, that's why this thing happened to me when I played basketball in high school, or that's why this thing happened to me that one day, or that's why I went through this experience. It's so I can be better prepared to do things like this. So I'm starting to put those pieces together to say, yes, it did happen for a reason. It took me a few or many years in some instances to realize that. And in the moment, it's especially hard. But we want to make sure that we make the most and be your best version of yourself every day. Shiko says, I have to think about that circle of 5. It makes sense for sure. The more people you're around, if they're negative energy and unmotivated, and you can feel it drains you down, and then you don't want, maybe I shouldn't do that because my friends aren't. And then if I'm ahead of them somehow, then maybe they'll judge me, or it'll make them feel bad, and I shouldn't do that. Um, Maybe I need to go back. So you need to see what you're around, and sometimes it's good to have your circle be a step ahead of you in terms of maybe influencers or mentors. Maybe your circle of five is a little bit further down the road than you are towards your goal, and then you can learn from them and their experiences and their knowledge to help move you up toward their level as well. So again, it's a lot to take in, a lot to think of. And again, that's why we need a plan and need strategies in place, because we can't do all this stuff at once. We can't maybe trim our social media feeds and think of our circle of five and start a new exercise plan and change our nighttime and morning routine so we sleep better and have more energy during the day while we're trying to follow a certain eating pattern, have more energy. It's a lot to do at once. So just take a brain dump, take a brainstorm, write all these things down that you want to do. What are the areas that I want to improve on? And then again, pick the one that's going to give you the most benefit. And if you're not sure, again, maybe that's the time to reach out to someone who is a coach and can guide you through this. You have these 10 things. These are all great. These are all going to help you. But you know what? Number 6 on your list, that's probably going to make the most difference for you right now. And then when you get 6, we're kind of where you want it, or even working towards getting it where you want it. That's going to help 5 and 9 and 2. Those are going to get a little better as well. So that when you go to tackle those, it's not a big of a task because you've already have some experience. Yeah, for sure. Big one here. I want to get this comment, guys. And again, thanks so much for sharing. Guys, you're awesome tonight in the chat. I love when we can kind of share experiences and talk and be a little more serious, if that's maybe not a great word for Twitch, but just a little more focused on what it is we're doing. Still have our fun, but kind of work through some of this and help each other. Jer says, even at work, there are older gentlemen who work around me who talk nonstop about doom and gloom. I purposely wear my earbuds and music to tune them out, just so it doesn't enter my subconscious. Excellent point. Great point. I found when I started working where I am, there was a lot of that too. Doom and gloom. I'm here. Don't want to be here. This place isn't, is whatever. I've been here 25 years, but I can't stand any of it. It was just doom and gloom and negative all the time. And I actually started to feel almost a little burnt out from trying to spread positivity, to make people laugh and bring a lightness to the lunchroom or the back room where we were, wherever it was. And I kind of had to take a step back and think, you know what, I'm just draining myself. These guys don't want this right now. They're not there. I'm going to focus on the few people who are in a good place and who talk positively. I try to limit myself from gossip and negativity as much as I can. Again, in a workplace with a lot of people, it's tricky to do that. But there's a lot that are always, everything's negative. Everything's negative. It's always glass half empty. What's going to happen? What's going to go on? What's going to move up next? Natty, it's good to see your typing still up to Twitch standards, as it has been. Yeah, people are emotionally draining for sure. Definitely. And yeah, Chico says he notices that being around that drains my energy for sure. It'll definitely drain. It draws you in. It sucks you in. Just like when you're around positive people. And we all know that, even just virtually, being in some of the chats we're in. Hey, Pep. Good evening, buddy. Some of the chats we're in, and the moments you feel that energy. And then if the chat's a little low or someone brings up a topic and you're thinking, oh, this isn't the right place for that, you can see that the chats go quiet. And same thing in person. If there's energy and positivity, hey, Jen, it's going to build up that energy. It's going to build you up. And if it's negative energy, it's going to draw you in and draw you down. So that's why we need to be careful of our 5 friends, our circle of 5, who we're sitting around with, even things at work, who we surround ourselves with, who do we work with, who do we share an office space with, a lunchroom with on a break. What are we going to hear and be exposed to? All that energy is going to affect us and bother us as well. We don't want that. And yeah, nice as people are emotionally draining for sure. They can be draining and they can build you up. They can fill your bucket, like we've talked about before. Again, if you're around the right group of people, they can help you fill the bucket and feel better and feel more energetic and better with yourself. So again, it's about finding who you're around. And you can see just in some of you that are hopping on and joining here, you're not here with me, but I can feel that energy and feel that good because I know there's good people here watching and good attitudes. And we started off saying, don't be perfect. And now we're talking into energies and attitudes and surrounding yourself with people. But again, that's great. We're having a good discussion, and I love it. So it's great to see everyone here tuning in. And thanks, great. Thanks, Pep, for the feedback. Glad you love the topic. And for Chico makes a great point here. Not saying I can't be negative, but I'm trying to be more conscious of it. And that's the main thing. That takes us back to what Jur said, self-aware. If we can be self-aware and conscious of it, then chances are we're less likely to go down that hole. Pause. If we're conscious of what we're doing, we're less likely to be negative. We're less likely to talk negative about ourselves. We're less likely to gossip and spread rumors and frustrations maybe that we have that should be maybe taken to a supervisor and not talked about in a break room or something like that. Being conscious of it is that next step. If we're conscious of it, we're less likely to do it. And then as you notice it, how do we correct it? So if you've ever heard Jack Canfield, the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, self-help expert, his tip was, what he found worked for him was cancel. So if he had a negative thought, I'll never get this done. I'm no good at math. I'll never figure this out. No, cancel. I can work through this. I'm going to take my time and work through and go through the steps needed to finish it. Or I'm going to ask for help where I need to get things going. So he had a cancel would be his cue if he ever noticed himself. The one of the bands I wear on my wrist, it says, get your mind right. It's from my buddy Todd Durkin. He has another one as well. They're over there somewhere, a bigger, thicker one, and he makes them thick. And again, that's his cue. If he has negative talk come in, he gives himself a little snap the band, and that little flick is kind of that cue to sort of try to shake yourself out of it. And then kind of the important thing is to reword it. Give yourself a positive affirmation from that. It's okay to not be perfect, like we started tonight. That's not the goal. The goal is to be consistent and to do our best. Most people, Natty, again, tying that, Natty says most people can't see that they're being negative. For sure, they don't notice it, or they're so used to being that way, that's just how they are. And they think that's just normal, and that's the way to be. And some of them just don't want to embrace it and change because, let's face it, change is hard. Change is difficult. So sometimes it's easier just to stay the course. That's not what we want to do. We want to be always changing or ascend till the end, like we like to say here, always getting a little bit better as we go through. Evening, Mimi, welcome. Good to see you. So we want to think, again, of when we started tonight, of just being good, not perfect. Do your best. Do the next best thing. That next little step that's going to help you get along the road towards your goal. And if you're just tuning in, we talked about how kind of like your goal is the destination in a GPS. You put in the goal, and then if you put in your destination in a GPS, you get your plot points. That's what we want to do. Create your goal, that's your destination, then work backwards. If your goal is step 100, achievement, what's step 99? Then what's 8, 98, 97? Work all the way back to what's step 1 that I can do today? Or maybe tomorrow. Step 1 tomorrow. But what can I do tonight? Step 1A, or my prelude, what can I do tonight to make sure tomorrow I get step 1 going? Because maybe tonight's not the right time, but if we think tomorrow's going to be the perfect time, it probably won't be either. So maybe we can start tonight, or maybe at least we can, again, set ourselves up for success. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to do. You have to be. You have to keep going, moving forward. And remember, perfection comes in the form of the perfect time to start. And that worry of perfection also comes in the term of, I'm not perfect at my routine. I wasn't perfect in working toward my goal. I didn't get perfect attendance at the gym. That's okay. Have a system in place, a setup in place to help you overcome that as you're done. You go through. Right. So Natty, thanks, Natty. Cleared trade lives with someone and not take earlier when we mentioned the topic of not taking someone's burden on. You're trading life with them. Yes, sorry, that makes sense too. I should have known. I'm used to your typing. I should have just translated. We want to live and be true to ourselves and not take on other people's problems or even give them ours. We have to work with what we have. We have to deal with what we have going on and try to fix things and get things to where we want them. Giving people our problems or even oversharing our problems and going on about them. It's that negative energy. It brings people down, and it brings you down as well. So let's just try to embrace the suck, as people say. Go ahead, guys. You can pause if you want. But embrace that challenge and know that we're going through that to be better, because we need to be the best version of ourselves for us and for those around us, our dependents, our colleagues, our friends. Again, maybe our coworkers who are quite negative, maybe they need that energy a little bit, that positivity to come through to them. Just, if nothing else, maybe to dial down their negativity just a little bit, so you're not affected by it, and maybe it gives them a little break where they can feel a little bit better as well. Yeah, hi Bonnie, welcome in. Good to see you. You can't change people. Again, it takes a long time for people to change, and you can't change them. They have to want to change themselves. They have to want to get better. Again, if you're negative and you don't want to change, you're going to stay that way. If you're not exercising, you don't want to exercise or want to be healthier, chances are you're not going to take that step or join that gym or start that exercise program, because you don't really want to. That's why so many people get that gym membership January 1st, because I think they're supposed to. It's a New Year's resolution. This year I'm going to get it. But if they don't really want to, then again, it's just going to be whatever the deal is, $9.95 a month, whatever, going out the window every month until they realize, then they cancel. And unfortunately, one of the negative things in my field is that that's what a lot of gyms strive on. They factor in a little bit that, we're going to get a rush of people who are going to sign up and pay and never show up. That's free income for them. That's free revenue. To me, that's ridiculous. That's not what health and fitness industry is supposed to be about. But it's a business, and business takes precedent for some of these bigger corporations and companies that do this. I had we'll get to that. We'll say that for another time. Anyway, if someone won't change unless they want to change. So if you want to improve and you have these goals you want to change, do you really want them? That's a talk you have to have with yourself. Do I really want to? Am I really ready to do this? Do I need to? Do I want to? As someone told me I should do this. As a healthcare professional said, you need to lose 10 pounds or it's going to impact your health. For some people, that'll get them going. That's that kind of slap in the face that wakes them up. But for some, still, because it's not them deciding and wanting, they won't be successful with what they do. So you need to do those kind of audits every once in a while and really sit. And I know I come back to that almost every week, but it's really true. You need to really sit and go through this and be clear on your goals, plan them out, reverse engineer, review the plan, think of obstacles, plan for overcoming them, because they're going to happen. Think of when things went really well, what worked for you, when things didn't go well, what set you off. To use all these experiences, because as we said earlier, things happen to us for a reason. We want to draw from all this to help us move forward and keep us progressing. Let's check out our comments here, guys. Again, thanks for tuning in, everyone. And Natty says 2 of her 5 in her circle are cats. That makes sense. That's fine. Cats are usually, most cats are usually pretty uplifting. A few are energy draining, as Chico says. Hope they're not draining. Yeah, but cats are fine. Whatever you like. They're so needy. So they're not draining, but they're very needy. Well, they say that cats take on their owners' personalities. But anyway, we'll check on that. So again, we want to think of not worry about perfection of when to start. Hey, Lisa Lucida, welcome in. Not when is the perfect time to start, and not worry too much about being perfect once we started working towards our goal. We just want to keep moving. We just want to strive for excellence, but at least be good and be consistent. That's the main goal for my clients, is let's get you building consistency, because consistency will build the results for us. That'll create the habits and the actions and the routines that'll help you be more consistent in your goals and working towards them and seeing the results that you want to see. Great stuff. Great stuff, guys. Checking in the comments here. What negative people need is ice cream. Yeah, maybe that's what they need. Maybe you should take them out for ice cream. Maybe the negative people at your work, maybe book an ice cream truck to come by one day. Maybe that will help them. Bonnie says negativity is like a frown. It takes more effort than a beautiful smile. So true, Bonnie. much easier to smile and be positive and energetic. It's really draining to be negative and frowning and that kind of downer sort of mentality. Again, a lot of people just get stuck in that kind of rut, unfortunately, and don't realize how easy it is to just flip it around. But they're not really open to that. So that's hopefully where we can role model. We talked about how we're role models here, whether you want to be or not, and whether you're a pro athlete or an influencer or whatever, we're all role models. People see us and how we're interacting, whether it's our kids, our cats, our pets, our colleagues, our coworkers, our neighbors, strangers we interact with. They see us. We can role model great positive energy, kindness, positive attitude, a willingness to make mistakes and not be perfect and be okay with that. If we can role model that, then people will understand that and take our example, and then they'll start to apply it as well. It's okay if I screw up. I saw that person try this and they had trouble, but they stuck with it, and look at them now. That means I can do it too. I know that person. I know what they're kind of going through. We're comparable. I can kind of do that too. So it gives them that hope and moving through any kind of rough patch they have. So we're role models, and it does take a lot less effort to be happy and kind than it does to be a negative Nelly. We'll say Nancy. We'll say Nelly. Negative Nelly as we're going through. So did Chico eat ice cream? See, ice cream made you feel better, didn't it, Chico? He said he couldn't. He was out shopping with his wife and he doesn't like shopping, so he went and got ice cream. Great stuff. Jura says, one thing I've carried over from business was to push negative thoughts upward to those who were mentoring me and had strong minds so that they could guide me, definitely. And all positive thoughts and reinforcement I would push downward to associates who were still on the come up. That's awesome, Jura. It's a great strategy, a great point. Typically, again, the mentors, the supervisors, the bosses, the managers, ideally, they've been through what you've been through or some variation of it. So they'll know how to handle some of these situations. They're maybe have broader shoulders so they can handle some of that negativity and what's going on. Or again, probably have solutions for you to deal with it and handle it in a good way. And sending that positive energy down the ladder to those who are still on the come up. I feel so hip when I use your words. That they're going to benefit from that because they'll feel better being in that environment. They're going to feel supported, and hopefully they'll again follow your example and they'll feel more positive. So they'll share more positive energy, and they'll share that energy with those below them on the corporate ladder, even those around them. And again, we hopefully over time will create more of a positive environment. Again, it's not going to be perfect. We just want it to be good, and we want it to be consistent. Maybe in 9 times out of 10, it's positive. Even 8 times out of 10, that's a pretty good average for positivity in a workplace. If we can aim for those high numbers and lead by example and put those systems in place, that will help a great deal as well. Great tip there, sure. I like that. Using your resources. Again, same thing as someone who hires me as a wellness coach. I've been through what they're looking to accomplish. I'm going to help them on that step, and I'm going to help them through those negative times and maybe some of those negative thoughts and energies that are out there. I can guide them through it or work them around it because there's different ways I can guide them and coach them because I've been through it myself. I've worked through it. I can maybe step outside and see from a distance what's going on and not have the emotional maybe connection to it that they would. So then they can push some of the negativity toward me. What's going on? What's happening? I'm stuck on this. I can't get I can't up my bench press. I'm really stuck. What's going on? I'm failing again. I can slow them down or rein them in and explain to them. Maybe there's plateaus that happen. Let's look at your routines. Let's look at your habits. Let's look at your schedule. Let's look at a few things and see what it is that we can work with to get you back on track to where you need to be. Thanks so much, Mimi, for being here. I missed your Tuesday streams. Appreciate you tuning in. Hey, Andrea. Yes, lots of push-ups for being late. You got it. I'll be. Hey, Dan. Good evening. Welcome in, buddy. I'll be looking for your push-up total, Andrea. Your video. Yeah, if you're on Twitch, there's a few Nads is showing a few promos here. Make sure you tune into our files here. Yeah, Nadia, definitely that was a great point from Jared. Let's keep that in mind as you're going through. Again, the people in the positions above you typically have had those experiences where they can give you that energy and that guidance, that coaching. And again, because of their experience, they're probably a little more apt, and hopefully they've had training. Again, it doesn't always happen, but they're a little more trained to handle those negative energies and connotations, those problems that come up. If you work frontline, you'll know that when something goes wrong, you hear about it, even though it's probably your supervisor or manager that has to really deal with it or make the decision, or has already made the decision. But when they come out to talk to that disgruntled customer suddenly cheers up and is fine and happy. But because they know you're the frontline worker, you can kind of deal with a lot of negativity. So we want to push that negativity upward. This happened. What do I do? And again, they share that training and experience to help you diffuse that situation, work through it, maybe even just change the energy a little bit so you can move through that. So keep that in mind. And again, positive energy to those who maybe aren't as experienced in the field and what they're doing. Help them, guide them, show them that positive energy that you don't have to freak out when something goes wrong, that you can work through some of these hiccups that are going to happen, that you can kind of go through. Then again, they start to see that example and they follow your example, and then they're a little more positive. And then when they get up to your position and you've stepped up, maybe you don't get as much negativity coming your way because you've taught them the positive way. You've shown them how to diffuse certain situations. So again, they can have that ripple effect where so many of our kind of social issues that are going on right now seem to be from a lack of change. We're stuck in old ways of doing things, and it just continues on. Whereas people like us need to show the new way of doing things, the better way of doing things, the more kind and humane way of doing things. And then that's going to slowly trickle down and have influence on people. But it's going to take a lot of time and patience and consistency. And it's the same way with your workouts. Maybe you want to lose a little bit of weight or run faster or lift more, but it's going to take time and energy, and you have to build that self and that confidence into you, and not worry again about being perfect. Just be you. You're great just the way you are, and that's all that matters. Fit for the call. Good evening, DJ Katz. Welcome in. A full house. I'm going to stream for an hour and a half every week, I think. You guys coming in. Great to see you guys. Thanks for hopping on here. We're just getting ready to wrap up an hour stream tonight. It can be a call-in show if you want, Katz, for sure. First time caller, long time listener. I can bring people on if you want to come on, for sure. There's a U in there, Katz. Otherwise, you got it right. Dial in. Good to see you, Gary. Thanks for being here and tuning in. Make sure, guys, you keep your eye out there. I know my pal Gary's here, Fit for the Call on Instagram. On Twitch, we got DJ Katz and Chico and Mimi Kasimi, who all are streaming. Jur, that boy Jur, is all streaming as well. There's a lot of people out there doing great content, entertaining, self-help, getting better, having fun, whatever the case is. Make sure you look out there. Get those good resources. It's all you. Good one, Katz. That was good. Make sure you, again, be careful of what you're taking in. Make sure that you're taking in good content. Your circle of 5, same thing extends to you online. You can make sure that you're getting the best version of yourself out there to get a role model to each other. So there's never the perfect time to start your journey toward your health and fitness goal or any goal you're working on. Just get started. Put a plan in place. If you need a coach, reach out. I can give you a hand. If I don't cover the topic you need coaching on, I know lots of other lifestyle coaches, health coaches, financial coaches that can help you as well. So reach out. I have a lot of resources. We can throw that in there. Great stuff, guys. Thanks very much for being here. Again, yeah, Gary, I probably will do a call in eventually. I can on IG. I'm multi-streaming. That's the tricky part. I'm here on Instagram, and I'm also on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So with StreamYard, I can call in people, and with Instagram, I can call in people, but the two of them don't work. So some will see me and some won't. But we'll work on that. We'll do a call in for sure. We'll get you on one night to chat with us. And that's right, Katz. I'm like City TV. I'm everywhere you need to be. And I'll do news and weather and sports all coming up soon as well. Once I get my my studio up to date. And again, don't worry about being perfect. Just get started. Do the next best thing. Just make sure you're being consistent, working towards your goals, being your best version of yourself you can be that day. And remember, always make yourself the priority you deserve to be by striving to be operationally fit. Stay safe, gang. Take care, and we'll talk to you real soon. Sounds good, sure. Yeah, I'll check with that for sure and get that template in. I can bring guests on here in StreamYard as well and have people join the link and jump in, but I'll hit you up after too and look at some different options as well. Have a great night, guys. Again, stay safe, take care, and we'll talk to you real soon.